So how do you manage a simple drip and drain hydroponic system? Now I'll take you through what I've done to manage the hydroponics trial that we have here on a regular basis. So hydroponics is a different system to, say, growing conventionally out in the paddock. So here are a few things to monitor. Practicing good farm biosecurity is the best way to manage pests and disease coming into your shade house. You may have some soil diseases in your paddocks that you don't want in your shade house. And a really simple and effective way of managing this is using a foot bath. This will disinfect your boots from walking in the paddock into the shade house. The pH measures the alkalinity or acidity of the water and essentially gives us an indication of how well that the plant can uptake nutrients. We want to measure the pH going into the cocoa coir bag through the dripper, and we want a pH around 5 to 6.5. If we're going higher than that, we may want to look at additives to our tanks in order to bring that pH down. I recommend talking to your local agronomist as to what to add to bring your pH back within the 5 to 6.5 range. Electrical conductivity, also known as EC, measures the strength of the nutrient solution by measuring the salts in the water. This is the best indication we have if we need more or less fertiliser provided to the plants. For the water going into the cocoa coir bags, we want an EC around 1.5 to 2.5. For the EC draining out of the cocoa coir bags, we expect an EC around 2 to 3. Anything higher than 3 means that we may have a build-up of fertiliser and therefore salts in our cocoa coir bags, and therefore a simple way to drain this is by flushing the bags with water. So there are a variety of ways to measure your pH and EC that vary in capability and price. But for this trial, we've got a simple EC reader as well as a simple pH pen. They do the job and they're very cost effective. A great way to measure if you're watering enough is by measuring the drainage percentage. The simple way that we do this is that we have a dripper in your beaker and you measure the amount of water that is going into the cocoa coir bag essentially. And if there's 3 drippers for the bag, we times the amount that's going into this beaker by 3. And then we measure it against the drainage that's coming out. So we also measure the amount of water that collect in these 3 containers. Then we do a simple calculation to work out our drainage percentage. We want our drainage percentage around 20%. If it's a lot lower or a lot higher than that, it indicates to us that we're either underwatering or overwatering. If we're underwatering, our plants aren't getting enough nutrients. If we're overwatering, we're essentially wasting fertiliser. Unfortunately, growing in a shade house does not mean that we don't need to manage pests. Shade houses can often have pests such as thrips, mites and aphids in them. For this trial, we've had to manage thrips and mites, and we've chosen to do this through an integrated pest management approach. This has been a combination of releasing beneficial insects that essentially target the pests, as well as using selective chemicals that only kill certain pests and do not kill our beneficials. Another key aspect of the pest management system is making sure that we're monitoring for pests. This can easily be done when, say, you're harvesting or you're training your vines or pruning. If you are looking at getting into hydroponics, firstly, we really recommend that you look at the market and ensuring that what you're going to grow is going to provide you with a premium price. If you have any queries, please don't hesitate to get in contact with me.